Ba, 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 bum. What's a man gotta do? What's a man gonna do? Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Happy Tuesday. Do I look happy? Let's get on there. See who's in. That's it. Now we can see the comments. I'm going to have to do it that way until we speak to Butch. Hello, Soundwave Man. How are you? So you're the first one in here. How's things down where you are at the minute? Have you received your text? Hello, CJF. Have you all received your text message yet? I got my text message this morning telling me to stay at home. Hello, Stevie, Dragon Lord, nice to see you, mate. Will Snell, John Moore, nice to see you. Steve, Dragon Lord, you had your text this morning telling you to stay at home? Morning from house arrest, John Moore. Yeah, me too now, me too. I mean, it's probably official now, got my text. Soundwave Man's received his text. So that's it. Good news is, we've got some good news. And I don't know if you're aware of this, Stevie, Mr. Dragonlord, but like it says in my title, I just found out the self-employed, you're going to get 80% of your net wages as a self-employed person or a freelancer. You'll get 80% of your net earnings or £2,917, whichever is the lowest. So if you happen to have put yourself on £1,000 a week's wages 6 weeks ago, then the most you're going to get is not £4,000 a month or whatever it is. You're going to get, the most you'll get is the 2,917. Do you see what I mean? So no matter how high your wages are, you will get the smallest amount of the two. So if 80% of your wages comes to more than 2,917, then you'll get 2,917. If 80% of your wages comes to less than 2,917, then you will get the 80% of your wages, because it will be the lower amount. Have you all got that? Hello, Nanny. So that's how that's going to be divided up, and freelancers count and self-employed people count, and that now sort of changes the tide for me a little bit. I mean, there's no difference to what I said yesterday. Yesterday still counts. As of yesterday, TGBCH ceases trading in numismatics. No matter what happens now, there's nothing I can do to carry on trading in coins, etc. If you see what I mean. So, and just like Steve, you know, Dragon Lord, he's now on house arrest, or if he is on house arrest, and that means he won't be able to really carry on trading. Some people might be able to. I mean, Steve you might be able to for a bit, but I've already taken everything off sale, everything off eBay, the lot. It's all come off. So yesterday still stands, but by the skin of my teeth, by the skin of our teeth. Hello, RJ. By the skin of our teeth, if I'd have gone bust 2 months ago, we wouldn't get anything. No one would get anything. But because I didn't go bust, and although yesterday was going bust, it sort of was and it wasn't, because yesterday's no different now for me than it is for tens of thousands of other businesses, which is that my business is now automatically put on hold. Now that gives it another lifeline, gives the elastic band a bit more tension, and you know, who knows what's going to happen now. But it certainly means that every single person that's a freelancer can get some kind of money. So anybody that has been working for us remotely from home, even though they can't get their points, they can tie into some money. So we can actually help anybody that was doing any work for us at home whatsoever. We can help them tap into this fund somehow, some way, which I'm really pleased about. So so now you've got a situation where you've got all of the PAYE people got their exes covered, and now you've got all the self-employed and the freelancers with their exes covered for the next 4 months to a year. So the next thing people will work on is what kind of loss of business, creditors, things like that people have a trouble with. My income is more like a dribble, still more low-scale hobby. So not set up as a company, etc. My sister's going to set me up correctly in due course. Her job is setting people up, etc. Yeah, I don't think you're understanding the situation. I don't think you're understanding it, Steve. So pay attention, right? Listen to Uncle Ian now. So at some point you started your business, right? And you will have taken money that you got paid in your pension or whatever, and you would have taken a portion of that money and you would have put it in your business account, right, when you got it. Now, I know you got your money about a month or two ago, a couple of months ago, whatever. So you get your money and you've setting up in business with your Dragon Law coins, right? And pay attention to this, because this applies to everybody if you think about it. So you've got to think about it. Listen to Uncle Ian, right? So Steve sets himself out in business and he takes a portion of his money and he puts it over there and he says, right, I'm going to set myself up in business. Now my business, it's a dribble. I'm selling 150 quid a week's worth of coins. It's nothing. But I've got my savings here, which I've put by to help me build my business. And I'm going to pay myself wages out of that. So I'm now a self-employed man setting up my business, got my money there. So out of that money, I'm going to take myself 600 quid a week and I'm going to pay myself 600 quid's worth of wages a week. Because then out of my wages, I can then pay my rent and my bills, and I can keep everything separate like a good little businessman. I can keep everything separate that's business and personal, because I'm getting my wages out of the business, taking wages because I've put that money in the business. I'm taking money out of there, my wages, and I'm using my private money to pay my bills and my coffee and my sandwiches and my night out and whatever, right? Now you fall into the category of people brand new, just gone into the self-employed sector, because it wasn't a shake ago that you were all still on PAYE. So now you've crossed over into the employment sector. Now you've got no evidence of all of this. You've got no proof of all of this. You've got no paperwork set up. There won't be, because you're the boss. It's your business. There's no one for you. There's no buck don't stop with anyone else. It stops with you. So you are relied upon, obviously, to tell the truth, right? And so you will put down what wages that you were paying yourself. Now, whatever wages that was that you've decided to pay yourself, the government are guaranteeing 80% of that, or £2,917. That applies to you just like it applies to Angela, and just like it applies to anybody else that has set themselves up in their own business recently. Because although on the one hand there is that paragraph, that sentence that says based on your last 3 years, however, you can't base it on your last 3 years if you're like Stevie Boy and you've just left paid employment and set up your own business. So they will have to take a certain section of the community at their word. Whatever it is that people say that they were getting paid, that they were paying themselves, to a degree, you may have to prove it to a degree and you may not. But what it gives is it gives everybody an opportunity to be able to claim whatever wages they were paying themselves. Now, some people might be on a business and only paying themselves 200 quid a week, in which case they'll get 80% of that paid them, if that's what they can show that they've paid themselves. So this is going to cover so many people. Yes, there will still be a couple of people left out a bit, but this will cover an awful lot of people. I don't know where mine goes on that, because my wages have always been 600 quid a week, whether I got paid or not. My wages are still £600 a week. They were 7, but then they went down to 6, then they went down to 5, then they went down to nothing. So I don't know what I'll be able to claim, because, you know, and again, we've got an issue with our accountant, so we need an accountant. I don't know where we stand with all of that. So at the moment, I'm a bit precarious for my personal money, only because of the state of our stuff. But then again, it might be reasonably easy for me too. I don't know. What I do know is every single self-employed person, every single one of you that buys and sells on the internet, eBay, all that kind of thing, and your business has now stopped, you can tap into a little bit of funding. Hello, Steve McManus. Nice to see you. I think Butch is perhaps oversleeping today. What we sometimes forget is that when I'm on, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. But for Butch, it's like 3:30 in the morning. And he does a really marvellous job. He gets up every blooming day and sets this up for us and everything. And every now and again, he'll just crash. And I reckon today's one of those. So no hardship. I mean, if Butch happens to come on, we'll just cut the stream and restart it. So we'll do it through his one, but otherwise we'll just stick to this, and that will do for today. I was going to leave it later and think, well, I'll come on an hour later, but and then I thought, well, I might as well just do it through this. So we just go out through YouTube on its own. So everybody's had their text this morning. I haven't put the news on yet. I should have done before I come on. Have a little look what they're saying. But I've been keeping up. Those of you that have got Sky Television, if you've got Sky, when you go onto the TV guide, I don't know how the other ones work, but I know on Sky, right? So I'm just talking to the people that are on Sky. When you go onto your TV guide, you can go on to like sections of the TV guide, can't you? And one of those sections, when you go on TV guide on the menu, is sport, and another one is this or that. Another one is news, right? And if you click on the news one, so now it opens up a page, a menu of just the news channels, right? And after, I honestly advise people to have a look at a couple of different news channels, because after just for so long we were on Channel 4 and we only ever watched Channel 4, and then sometimes we watch a bit of BBC or ITV News, but our news tends to be very constrained and very managed, whereas, because there's a lot we don't find out about, whereas if you go on Sky News, now they're a little bit expanded, they're a lot more expanded, you find out what's going on around the world a lot more, so if you want to know what's going on in Europe and that kind of thing. And then another one to look at is Al Jazeera. Now I know it sounds like a bloody terrorist name, you know, it's what put me off it when people used to say to me, do you watch Al Jazeera? And I used to think, what's the matter with you? I used to think, you know, silly, but that's his name. I don't know why that's his name, but that's his name. Anyway, you watch Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is a bit different. Al Jazeera gives you the kind of news that you don't get on our channels. It's worth watching. It's worth having a little look at. You know, especially like looking at the way things are going on around the world right now, and with the virus and who's doing what and who isn't. You get a lot more sense of what's going on around the world, different countries. You know, for those of you that think this is going to blow over in 10 minutes, not a chance. This is going to go around the world like a dose of salts. There's if you look on Sky, again, only for the people that have got Sky, I don't know about the other channels, you'll have to have a search. But for the people that's on Sky, there is a documentary set of 3 on viruses. So if you search virus, you'll come up with it. Killing something. Virus. Anyway, there's a set of 3. One documentary is on influenza. The other one is Ebola. And what was the other one? Influenza, Ebola, and Influenza, Ebola, and another one. Can't think. And I was trying to put them out, you know, for people to see them, and I couldn't get them up on YouTube because it was copyrighted. But they're worth looking at. They are. I mean, start searching a few things like that. You're going to be bored now. You're going to be at home. SARS, yeah, could have been the SARS one, Popcoin. You know, you're going to be at home. Start searching this stuff, finding out a bit about it, because it's really dangerous. It's really, really dangerous stuff. And there's so many. At the moment, how many people do you think there are? My estimations are there are over 1 million people that have got it at the minute, that have caught it. Over 1 million. What day is it today? Tuesday. By the end of this week, between 2 and 5 million. I reckon about 3 million by the end of this week. By the end of next week, definitely 5 million, if not 10. And that'll be by the end of next week, all around the world. Al Jazeera, John says, Al Jazeera is a Qatari state-funded broadcaster in Doha, Qatar. Al Jazeera means the island in Arabic. It is named that way because it claims to be the only independent news network in the Middle East. They don't seem to do too bad for being a bit independent, you know. I mean, it's not the kind of news channel that I could watch hours and hours of, but just to go on there and watch. Last night before I went to bed, I went on there and just watched like half hour, 40 minutes, just to see a bit of a different. I wanted to see a different take. I was fed up seeing the same thing over and over and over again. So that's the thing about our news. They pump out the same thing over and over and over again, instead of giving you what they give you and then giving you something else, giving you more. It's just the same stuff over and over and over again until you're brainwashed with it. I get a bit fed up with that. I like a little bit of diverse. I like to a little bit of, you know, I like to educate my mind and broaden it a bit, not just go by what one person's saying. Oh, Kian. Nice to see you, Kian. If you haven't heard about it, Kian, there's been a little bit of a change, and if watch yesterday's video or one of the other videos, and yeah, yesterday's video I think it is, where we changed it to the £1,000, oh no, there's a £1,000 parcel video up. Go and have a look at that. Where if you share something, you know, and you get 1,000 shares on it, you'll get a £1,000 parcel. I'm still doing that, by the way. I'm still going to do that. I think we'll be able to do that. So what we're going to do about all the bills, all the debts, all the investors, all the people that have paid for stuff and now ain't going to get it, I don't know. I have no idea. At this stage, drop a bit of paper. I have no idea at this stage. But what I do know is, if there's going to be an alleviation of money, i.e. it's going to cost me less, you know, I'm getting help with Logan's wages and I'm getting help with this and that, one thing or another, getting help with my wages, whatever. So if the stress and the strain of the financials is being alleviated in certain areas, then there may very well be a way for us to claw our way out of this nightmare. At the moment, my request and instructions to John are to essentially do a twofold bit of planning. On the one hand, plan for the bankruptcy, start getting everything together, making the list. We've got to get a creditors list together. We've got to get the forms from the court and filled in. There's no rush on it because the courts are all suspended anyway. But he's still got to work on that. He's got to work on the understanding and the premise that we are going to go bust and we are going to have to declare bankruptcy. So at this stage, we've got to work on that. On the other hand, we've also got to work on, well, what if we don't go bust? Because we might even be able to get out of it. Now, as ridiculous as this sounds, and I'll say it before anybody else starts giving it all this, right? As ridiculous as it sounds, And as cold as it sounds, really cold-hearted and all the rest of it, right? But for me personally, for my personal staff, for my personal investors or whatever, I think the coronavirus was the best thing that could happen to us. I know, shock horror. Absolute shock horror. To say that is shock horror. All these people dying, shock horror. And I'm really sorry for all these people dying. I really, really am. But the virus, it has to be said, it's the best thing that could have happened for me. Well, as long as I don't catch it. As long as I don't catch it from a business point of view and saving my arse point of view, it wouldn't happen without the coronavirus. If it wasn't for the coronavirus, it's not something I'm, you know, you all know it. It's only me telling the truth. If it wasn't for the coronavirus, finished. You know, we were on our way to being finished, and we were struggling and fighting, and who knows how long that fight would have gone on for. Would it have gone on for another 2 months and then bang, or would it have gone on for another 2 years? None of us know how long it would have gone on for. But what I do know is, at a time when I really, 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 really needed some help and could not get the help from anywhere, and said to John, it will be an absolute flipping miracle. We need an absolute miracle. I remember saying that to him. And, you know, for us as a business, it's the best miracle I could have got. But it's unfortunate for all the people that it's going to affect and destroy lives and kill people and one thing and another. But it might be the saving of us. So it means that we'll be able to tap into things. It means there'll be compensation packages for people that go out of business. It means that there'll be so much in the pound paid out to creditors. It means that there'll be some kind of compensation package to pay anybody that has ordered anything in advance. It means that there should, in theory, even be a compensation package that might cover your points. And as I've often said to people, you know, you might want to save some of those points, because you never know what's going to happen in the future. And anybody sitting there with a load of points right now, there may be a way of cashing those in, you know, so much in the pound. I don't know yet. No one knew up until yesterday, today, that the self-employed were going to get something, or what they were going to get. And no one knew up until a few days ago that the PAYE were going to get what they were going to get. So it's all fluid, it's all changing every bloody day. It's all changing. Just opening a letter here. Another load of bank charges. £90. Manual rapid transfers to £2,500. So we transacted £5,000 essentially, 2 times £2,500. We transacted £5,000, got charged £90 and a penny for it. It's getting change and all that. So where does that take the supply and demand? Are you digging? Oh, him. So where does that take the supply and demand? Well, the supply and demand changes because there's now an awful lot of people that are not going to be going out collecting money in their change. You're not going out to the post offices, you're not going out to the banks. The shop that you're working in has just closed. You've got no more access to that change. Therefore, you can't put it on eBay anyway and you can't sell it. So there'll be quite a quick glut, there'll be quite a quick purchase from a lot of people buying what they can online. And then, when there is less of a product online, the price of the products will go up. So, literally, anybody that's got any kind of, well, whatever you've got is worth keeping. For example, if you've got VC Cross, which wasn't particularly rare, it's worth keeping now. If you're sitting there with them, don't cash them in unless you have to. Because there's an awful lot of people going to cash in everything they got. There's people now going to be selling off private collections and stuff cheaper. So your supply and demand market prices and all of that are just going to go up and down and all over the place. You'll have somebody so skint they'll be selling a £3,000 collection for 800 quid. You know, that kind of stuff. That's all to come yet. Change orders are currently suspended, says RJ. You know, so that means a business like mine, I wouldn't be able to go and get the coin anyway at the minute. You know, all that'll be suspended. I'm not allowed to go and get it. You know, all of that stops. So all of that has to be compensated for when you think about it. You know, all of you people that go out and collect change and one thing and another, there is a way of getting compensated for it. But you may not get compensated if you just get it and you don't pay for it. So if you're one of the people that goes to the bank and gets a £250 bag and therefore you can't prove that you're a business and that you pay for it, you might not get compensated. With any luck, we'll get compensated. I mean, what happens to all the thousands of man hours where we've sorted coins out that we now can't sell? All that. So you've got all that to deal with as well, won't you? So I reckon it's gonna get worse before it gets better, and there's a myriad of things that are going to change. All our lives are going to change. Your life, my life. I said goodbye to Logan yesterday. I might not see him for a year. I mean, imagine. Spoke to my mum the other day. I might not be able to see her for a year. She's on quarantine. I'm on quarantine, as it were, or that house thingy. Mind you, everybody is now. So, well, everybody is for 3 weeks, I think, and then it will be re-evaluated. So it'll be interesting to see what the news says. On a lighter note, it's quite sunny today, which is nice. Oh yeah, and the other thing in the title that I put in the title, the NHS staff, do you know that they're getting mugged already? Mugged. They're coming out of shops in London, they're coming out of shops, little corner shops, places like that, coming out of the supermarket with their shopping and literally getting mugged on the street for their passes, for their ID badges, so that these people can go to the supermarket in the morning and get the shopping for themselves with the fake ID passes. You've got a lot of that going on, you know, and there hasn't been much. Well, if there has been any thought put into it, they certainly haven't made it public, because they've not said anything about all the scroats out there. Remember, before all this kicked off, we got a country full of scroats. Every single town in the country have got these scroats. These scroats that go out causing trouble, these scroats that go out picking on the elderly, these scroats that go out in every town and city in the country that go mugging people and beating people up for their purses and robbing people in their houses and things like that. Are we to expect that this entire thousands of people, thousands throughout the country, thousands of them that do this on a weekly basis, we're going to suddenly expect that these people are going to suddenly wake up with a conscience in the morning because there's a worldwide virus? No. These people are scroats and they will stay scroats, and there will be some evil, nasty stuff going on. People are going to be mugging. It starts off with mugging a few NHS workers. No harm done, just put the fear of God into them and take their badge. And then what happens when somebody doesn't want to give their badge? Maybe they get crap kicked out of them. You know, where does that end? And now you've got all of these gangs and all of these nasty people that run around with knives anyway. You've got all of these people that ain't going to be able to deal in what they normally deal in, so they're going to be dealing in other stuff, aren't they? And then you've got all the looting. The looting's got to start. All the looting, you know, if you live in a town centre, if you live close to shops, that kind of stuff, expect to hear the crashes of glass, because there's no way you can contain a country like this with the amount of scrotes that we've got out on the streets and not have a load of looting going on. So you're going to get your looting all over the country. Wait till the windows go through. People go in there and start nicking all the televisions and the white goods and the black goods and the clothes and the £100 shirts, 50 at a time, and all that kind of stuff. Wait till all that goes on. It's all coming. It's all coming. I feel like it's like doom and gloom, isn't it? You know, it's not, and it doesn't have to be. It just is going to be for a lot of people because I think they were too slow to react. And now we've got cases of the bloody food banks getting smashed into, and people robbing food banks and things like that. That's already started. So we've got the looting of the food banks started. There was one of them on the news completely cleared out. Absolutely everything gone. I'm in today as a key worker. There's a long stay car park I use, which is lower cost for all day. Closed. The one still open, twice the price. He works in a bank. So there's, you know, I mean, between you all, we get all the information that we need, because we've got people like RJ works in a bank. You've got people like Katie work in a supermarket. You know, there's people here that work in a post office. Some of you are business people. Do you know what I mean? A couple of independent shops in town have hung their open cash register in the window to avoid a break-in. You know, and that'll work for a while, and it'll work for a lot of shops, but if this is a lockdown for a year, then you're going to have ram raids, people backing a van through a shop window, taking what they can quickly. And you've already got, you know, and you also got people already. And the thing about it is, if you've already got this stuff going on already, then you know it's only going to get worse. And already you've got people in the supermarkets, in the aisles, causing fights between each other, telling people, go back, you're standing too close to me. Don't want you standing too close to me. You know, and then somebody going, don't matter about me standing too close to you. What about you bringing your kids out? What kind of parent are you bringing your kids out? Now they're going to have a fight. Right? And you've got all that kind of thing going on. Ian repairs crashed vehicles, including the NHS ones. His daughter's a 20-year-old key worker with an anti-immunity. See? Every single one of you, you know, going to get affected by this. Then you got, you know, they got people going, stay away from your elderly parents. Well, people like Angela can't do that. People like John Gamble. Remember John Gamble? I miss John Gamble. People like John Gamble can't do that, and Angela, they can't do that. They live at home with their parents. They live at home looking after them. What are they going to do? They can't stay 2 meters away from their parents all the time. That's impossible. So it is all very worrying with the way some people are going to play it. We're going to have the absolute best of humanity come out. You're going to see some things on the telly and the news that's going to make you want to cry because it's just so lovely. And you're going to see things that make you so angry and want to cry because they're so nasty. Doesn't seem not a big deal in the scheme of things, but yeah, well, it's not a big deal in the scheme of things for you to just go and pay double parking today. And in the great scheme of things, on the one hand, that's like someone could go, oh, for goodness sake, RJ, it's nothing. What's the matter with you? You know, the world's dying and you're worried about paying a bit extra parking. However, that's where it starts. It starts somewhere. So now you've got a car park that's decided to double its price, okay? So what happens then when someone else decides to double their price, and then someone else decides to double their price? As the months go on, if they don't get the supply and demand correct, everything you're used to buying will go up, and go up at a ridiculous rate. And now it's a race against time, and RJ will understand this, being in the banking industry. Now it's a race against time to stop things happening here that happened in places like Italy, because you do not want people going down and paying £20 for a loaf of bread, a £20 note, because that's all our money's worth. It's all right, it's all very well giving people all this money, but what are they going to do with the money? And if the price of the products go through the roof, then they'll just have to give everybody more, and then that will take us down a really bad economic route. You've got to try and keep the price of the money stable. At the moment, the Americans can buy a pound note the cheapest they've been able to buy it in most of my life. I don't know a time that I remember it's ever been this cheap. Give it, anybody that buys the pound now and buys it with an American dollar gets it so cheap that in a year's time or 2 years' time, you go selling them dollars back for, or selling those pounds back for dollars, and you make 50%. Gary Roberts, hi there Ian, thank you for the Guernsey £1 notes that came today, thank you, they are great. Excellent, glad they got there all right and they didn't get creased. Hope everybody got their little bitses and bobses that was being posted out. Some of you will have got some bitses and bobs, some of you won't. You know, and where do you take your compensation bit? That's going to be another interesting conversation as well, another interesting thing to come up. Where's the different compensations that you're going to be able to claim? For example, what do I do if I have to rip open a load of, that would be funny. What would I do if I had to rip open 1,000 Peter Rabbit, change check of 50p's and bank them because I needed the money? There's a, you know, what do you do with the 25,000 pennies that I've got that are worth £2 each? Cash them in at a penny. So where it all goes, who knows? We'll just go on a journey together. Me and you and me. 10 bag a day limit. Bag a day for what? 10 bag a day, 10 bag a day. What you mean on the bags of coins? The £10 bags of coins, 10 a day. 10 bag a day. Oh, paying in. Yeah, that's going to be another thing. I wouldn't be able to cash the money in, would I? How would I cash it in? Can't cash it in. I wouldn't be able to cash it in. I'd have to give, if I actually, can you imagine this situation, right? If I actually got to a point where there was no money and I was getting a food delivery, I'd have to pay them in carded 50p's. That are probably worth £10 each. Nanny Sue's got all her coins. Lovely, lovely. Glad you got your bitses and bobses. So for the moment, we still won't sell any coins, but I will take money in the 10 times a mint and in the shares and of the TV and dot news. I will be able to take money in that because I'll separate them off anyway. So if the rest goes under, I'll just separate those off. So they won't be included in a bankruptcy, and I'll be able to do that. It's a bit more complicated than just being able to say, oh, I'll do that. But essentially, I'll be able to do that. So for those of you that want to just still buy into that, you've got to contact me privately. You've got to send me the money by bank transfer, and then I can put you down for that. And we have had a couple of people, even though things are what they are, we've had a couple of people still wanting to put money in to help keep me going, and that is just tearfully lovely, and has a bit of blown me away a little bit. Um, but I don't think you can use the site at the minute, and it won't be that long, probably, before we lose WorldPay, I shouldn't imagine. So then we'll have an issue about how we're going to transact money, how we're physically going to get money from people, because without a PayPal account, without a WorldPay account. So I see that happening, but we'll have to wait and see. Whether or not places like Shopify will be told that they can't switch people off, I don't know. But again, we'll have to wait and see on that. So those of you that are sitting at home, got nothing to do, bugger all to do, and you want to be part of this new thing, well, all you've got to do is, you've got to send me a text by WhatsApp, because I need to add you to a WhatsApp group, so you've got to come on board. And I'll assign a post here, a post that I've done, and it may or may not have any shares or views on it. It may be something we've copied over from YouTube, and then we want to get that post shared about a bit. And so I'll assign a post specifically to you, no one else, just to you. And then we can both watch the shares go up. And when those shares hit 1,000, you'll get hold of me and go, Ian, my shares have hit 1,000, look. And you'll get a £1,000 coin parcel off me. Now, of course, there may be a bit of an issue in getting it to you. For example, if you complete the shares within the next 2 weeks, which you shouldn't, because I don't want anybody doing it too quick, and I don't want you getting your accounts blocked. And you've got to remember that without the employees being in the Facebook buildings, Facebook and places like Facebook are relying solely on their spiders and algorithms and computerized whatevers, computerized police invisible thingies that they've going around the system. And it will stop you and it will block you from doing too many. So don't do too many, but they need to be shared to groups for the most part, because you can get like watch parties started in a group and that kind of thing. So those of you that want, and there's the link, Chris has put it up, so those of you that want to come and join us on that. I will assign you a post, and that will be your post, and then you can get friends and relatives to help you share it. And then when it gets to 1,000 shares, you get a £1,000 coin parcel. And I will start putting those coin parcels together over the next couple of weeks. And if we've still got the courier companies working and one thing and another, then that will be something I can keep going, because I will be able to phone a courier from the house, have them come pick it up from the doorstep, deliver it to you. So as long as the couriers are working, we can still get that transacted, if you see what I mean. And there's no money to pay, there's no postage to pay, there's no nothing to pay. So that's one thing that we can keep going, and we have got half a dozen people or more on that at the moment, and that is starting to work. RJ, how many are yours up to? Yours one was doing pretty good, wasn't it? What's yours up to at the moment? I think RJ was up to about 50 shares, something like that, and about 1,400 views. The one I'm doing is the ostomy one. I thought I'd better do that one. It's a bit of a squeamish one, so I better do that one. And that one's up to 550 shares with 11,000 views on it so far. So that's the sort of thing we can do to our videos. And I can get my treason video and skullduggery at the mint and puddle duck video and all these videos where I've had a go at the mint and haven't got the attention to them. I can get the attention. So I might not be able to fight the mint and 288 group on equal terms now, but if I'm being forced to isolate, we're being forced to close down, and all there is the internet, then by the time this is finished, I'm going to try and have half the country knowing who the Great British Coin Hunt was and knowing about our fight with the mint. And the mint and 288 group won't be able to do a thing about it. All they're going to be able to do is watch this unfold over the next 6 months. where we use the stock that we've got in order to get each of those videos 1,000,000 hits. And then when someone's hit their 1,000 shares, they can either stick to the same video for another 1,000, or they can have a different video from scratch, or they can have a different video halfway through, or whatever, and get 1,000 on that. So I don't see any reason why we can't keep this going, to be honest. The one thing you can't do is you can't buy the shares. I'm not interested in that. They've got to be proper shares going out to proper groups, and you can't share it to your same profile over and over and over and over and over again. It won't count. You can do it to your own profile, like, you know, regularly, a couple of times a week, to keep people in your friends list knowing about it, but it's not going to count if you just keep sharing it to your own profile. You've got to share it to groups and places like that, and then from there other people share it. So when someone else shares it for you, they're doing you a favour. You know what I mean? And if you get it in the right group and you get 20 people share it, then you could get those 20 people share it, and then you could get another 50 people share that. You know, so you could get the work done for you. What you're doing is you're getting the post going, and I'm paying you to get the post going. And I'll pay you with £1,000 worth of coins for getting 1,000 shares. So you don't get anything until you've hit 1,000 shares. Once you've hit 1,000 shares, you can claim your parcel. Till then, you just keep going, and every now and again I click on everybody's link and see what they're up to and see who's managing to get it shared and who isn't. It's that simple. And this, I think, will take over from the draw, from the VIP draw, because we're not able to do that. So we need this to take over from that. We need that to evolve into this. But what I will do is, once we're back up and running with the site and points, etc., I will do a draw still for the people within the group. Yeah, that'd be nice, Angela. You know, at the moment, I'd settle for that. I'd settle for everybody knowing who TGBCH was. But if things can work, then maybe everybody will get to know who TGBCH are. And there is no was, and that would be nice. So the virus has handed me another crack at it. It's handed me another chance. It's handed me another go. I got a free go. And I'm going to use it to the best of my ability. I'm going to use that chance. I'm not going to squander it. I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to use that chance to the best of my ability, use my creativity, use my brain that God gave me, and I'm going to carry on with you lot and continue to try and build a business. Is what I'm going to continue to try and do whilst the government comes out of all its bitses and bobses and things that we can go into and claim or can't claim or whatever. Meanwhile, we get this homework up and running. And what if you're one of the people that's getting paid to stay at home and you can put your feet up and you don't have to do anything? Well, this is a great crack to get onto then, isn't it? Because then you're being paid twice. You know, you get one of these up to 1,000 shares, you get £1,000 of coins. Can you do it again? Yes. Can you do it again? Yes. Can you do it 5 times over and get £5,000 of coins? Yes. You know, can you do it for the next year over and over and over again? Yes. As long as you do it straight, yes. So, you know, you can earn, and if you've got more than one Facebook account and you want to have one on each Facebook account, that's fine. You know, I don't mind that, because you've got a certain amount of work to do in order to make it happen. You know, and my sort of, I wouldn't suggest on your own Facebook account that you did any more than, say, 40 shares in a day or 30 shares in a day. I think probably 25 would be enough. If you was going in doing 25 shares to 25 groups every day, that would be 100 a week. Within 10 weeks, you've got yourself £1,000 worth of coins. You know, that's one way of doing it. Or 25 a day would be 175 a week if you was doing it 7 days a week. That would then take you somewhere in the region of about 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and you've got £1,000 of coins. That's kind of you, thank you, Angela. She said, Ian, do you not get it whether you can trade or not? You are TGBCH. Just keep coming on and being you, but just don't sing or dance. And TGBCH is a success. Well, funny enough, I did have the common sense to buy a TGBCH something. But we'll see what happens. But thank you, Angela. And thank you, Chris, and everybody else. It's kind. But we're just, you know, so I'm not crying, I've got sleep in my eye. We'll just carry on. And, I mean, this, you see, there's something I've got in my favour, really. Which is, I'm not saying this like, oh, feel sorry for me, in any way, shape or form. But I have been kicked in the bollocks so many times in my life, it's unreal. I can't tell you how many times. Honestly couldn't. If I had to sit down with a pen and paper, I couldn't tell you how many times. And every time it's happened, I just pick myself up, dusting myself down, and I just move on. Because I know that no matter what, I'm going to go to bed tonight, and unless I die, no matter what, I'm going to get up in the morning. So life goes on. So all we can do is unfold each bit as it happens at the minute, and things will change, and I will change alongside them. That's basically what's going to happen. Is things are going to change, things are going to get fluid. The government, work, business, and I'm going to change alongside it. I'm not going to be a stick in the mud dinosaur that just meekly goes under. I'm going to carry on fighting. Of course I will. No one knows what's going to happen, but I'll carry on fighting. The most important thing is trying to make sure everybody gets their wages. Second most important thing is then carrying on. And I think we've got a bit of a handle on that. I'm going to take you with me to make a cup of tea. Now, got no Logan to make me a cup of tea. So. A cup of tea and a biscuit, I reckon. I better have a biscuit. Oh, my tablets. I ain't had my tablets yet. Excuse me, mate, get my tablets. What's it like? Can't remember. No, 288. People watching this on catch up that have never seen the videos I make, I'll even use them like this one. I use this. People will be watching this on catch up, you won't know what I do this, I just make a cup of tea and get a biscuit and stuff while we're talking. It's just that my normal crowd are used to it. That's it. Watch a video, see a man eat a biscuit. So I reckon probably, tell me what you think, but I reckon that I've given everybody a good up to date on what's going on, and I would make you one, Chris. No 288. teespring.com/no288, and you can buy one. So I reckon we've probably covered everything we need to cover. There's no point me just rambling. Unless anybody's got any questions for me at the moment, I want to be talking to all of the people. So all of the people that help us, work for us, etc. I want to be talking to all of you, because at some stage, no rush, over the next week or so, we'll have a catch up and we'll have a chat, and we'll see what we can do, how we can move forward. The VIP support group is there, so if you want to come over, join us on that. But what do you think? You know, should we call it a day after an hour? Because I think I've given you an update on everything that I can, and the rest is just my sexy, wonderful face. I mean, so what do you think? Should we call it a day there, and then come back on tomorrow? So when there's Butch, 2 hours is a lot easier, because I've got him as well, whereas once I've been talking for about an hour, I've probably covered everything. What do you think? Talk now or forever hold your peace. I mean, I can't break it up with giveaways and things like that, because we can't, nothing we can do. So I was thinking we'll probably call it a day there. No, I'm not dancing. I'm thinking we'll probably call it a day there. You've had a bit of an update. You've probably got things to do and check out yourselves. You're going to want to carry on with the news. 7 minutes past 12, news has just started, lunchtime news, so there'll be some catch-ups on there. And what do you say we come back tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. And it might be Butch on, it might just be me. I should imagine Butch will be back with us tomorrow. And there you are. So, freelancers, self-employed, covered, people working for us, you seem to be covered one way or another. And so we need to talk about that, and you need to sort of rest easy and know that you're covered. And then we just got to sort out customers and investors and creditors, and then we'll be fine. He says. So let's all keep an eye on the news. Let's all stay safe out there, and make sure your bitses and bobses is locked up. So garage, shed, all that kind of stuff. Make sure it's got a decent padlock on it, and make sure you put a bit of 3-in-1 oil in the padlock so that the key isn't too stiff, right? But keep the windows locked, doors and windows. Start thinking about that kind of thing now. Sorry and all of that, but start thinking of that now. Doors and windows. There are a lot of unpleasant people out there. Okay. Thanks very much. Thank you for sticking with me. Pardon me. I'll see you tomorrow.